Hi there, welcome back to Spring into Math 7. I'm Mrs. Campbell, and today we're going to be talking about commission. So let's get started. Let's start off with a definition of what a commission is. A commission is an amount of money based on how much a salesperson sells. So the more he or she sells, the bigger his or her commission. Most companies that pay commission do it based on a percentage of the number of sales. So for example, my father is a real estate agent, and every time he sells a house, he gets a percentage of the cost of that house, and that's how he gets paid. And that's what a commission is. Let's take a deeper look. All right, look at the proportion for finding the tax and tip. The yellow is tax and the orange is tip. That's what we discussed in our last video. And today we're going to be talking about the percent of commissions. Do you see any kind of a pattern in these? I'm guessing you probably will. The percent is always over 100. Percent tax, percent tip, and percent commission are all over 100. And looking specifically at the commission box, the pink box, the amount of the commission is the percent of the number of items. It goes over the number of items sold or the amount of the sale. And I think this will make a little bit more sense when we start looking at an actual problem with numbers attached to it. So let's jump right into one of those. Here's our example. The rate of commission for selling a house is 6%. Of the cost of the house. If a real estate agent sold a house for $128,000, how much would that person's commission be? So the house is $128,000 and the real estate broker, the person selling it, is making 6%. Now we know that the percent of the commission is 6, that the amount of the sale is $128,000. What's the amount of the commission? Well, that we don't know. We're going to have to figure it out using our proportion that we talked about on our last slide. But let's do this first. We don't know what the commission is, so we want to state the variable. We're going to say that we're going to let the amount of the commission equal C. So here's our proportion. We've got the percent commission over 100, and that is equal to the amount of the commission over the amount of the sale. We're just going to plug in the stuff that we do know. 6%, so we do 6 over 100. C, the amount of the commission, we don't know that yet, how much that person's going to take home in their pocket for selling that house. And the cost of the house is $128,000. Then we cross multiply, and we come up with $768,000 equals 100C. We're going to divide both sides by 100, and we get 7,680 equals C. So the amount of commission that the real estate agent would make is $7,680. Not too shabby. So now let's talk about finding the commission rate, or the percent. So we can use the same proportion to find the rate or the percent of a commission. So now we're going to be doing the opposite. Let's take a look. Robin earned $150 as a commission selling a painting. The painting was sold for $2,550. What is the rate of her commission? Round to the nearest tenth of a percent if needed. So in the last example, we had to figure out what the 6% came out to, how many dollars that was equal to. In this problem, they're telling us how much money it is, in this case $150, and the question is asking us to figure out what percent that is, 150 of $2,550. So first, we need to decide what we know and what we do not know. So we know that the amount of the commission is $150. We know that the amount of the sale is $2,550, but the percent of the commission, that's what we don't know. So we're going to use a variable there, and we will let the percent of the commission equal P. All right, so then all we have to do is put the information into our proportion for the commission and solve for the variable P. So we have P over 100, because we don't know what that percentage is, equals 150 over 2,550. Cross multiply, and we come up with 2,550P equals 15,000. Divide both sides by 2,550, and P equals 5.88235,941, so we're going to round. And rounding to the nearest tenth would tell us that that is a 5.9% commission. So $150 is 5.9% of the $2,550. All right, everyone, that just about does it for this lesson. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.